welcome. I'm John, and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For all those of you new, this is a terrain build. I try and do a terrain build every 7 to 10 days, depending on what's going on, you know, outside the studio. You know, it can happen. Sometimes it can't. There's a lot of ideas, things to do, but you know, and the idea of the terrain builds are to show you cheap, easy ways of making stuff and making some amazing stuff. I also do commission builds for terrain builds. If anyone, you know, wants something specifically made, just message me up. All my regulars here, guys, I would love. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a second, guys. So what I'm going to make today, or what am I going to make today? I've got a few ideas for things for Ash Wastes. Okay, the only thing that's stopping me sort of on them is I want to be able to read a bit of the fluff about them, you know, about the Ash Wastes and everything else, to get more of a feel of what, you know, type things are needed. I mean, there's a lot of things I can, desert type stuff I can make. That's not a problem, but I want to get a bit more specific, crazy ideas. So what I'm going to make today, I'm going to make something for Ash Wastes. But I want to make a cliff type piece of terrain. Now, you know, when you see like you see deserts, you know, think of, you know, American deserts, and you've got a big mountain range in the background, but it's actually just a cliff type space. That's what I want to do. Now, I could go with kingspan and cut chunks of kingspan and, you know, glue them together to make a big chunky bit, and then filler it and, you know, texture it and sculpt it and all that business. I don't want to do that. I tell you why. I think it's a waste of kingspan. I've got a sheet for nothing, you know, it was given to me, but, and I do want to get through it, but at the same time saying it, I just think that'd be a waste for that. It would be too uniformed and too, you know, yeah, you can put filler onto it and you know, sculpt it and shape it and all that, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going for expanded foam. Okay, it's a big old tube of expanded foam, 750 mils. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run you through my setup, because some of you that have seen my expanded foam videos before will be like, oh yeah, wait, I know what sort of thing is coming. Everyone that's new, or if you've seen this video for the first time, you're going to be like, what? Expanded foam? What happens here? So I'm going to take you down and show you the little template that I've made and talk you through it, and then we're going to go for it. But before I forget, because sometimes it's common sense and people don't, you know, realise this, when using expanded foam or any other sort of like spray aerosol cans and, you know, anything like that, even your rattle cans, ventilated area, mask, goggles, gloves, you know, all that sort of stuff, because you don't want to be breathing this stuff in, and you know, even when you're using super glue, you should have a ventilated area, in all honesty. But anyway, so I'm going to bring you down and show you what I'm doing, and then I'm going to go for it. Okay, see you in a second, guys. Right, so the first thing you need is grease-proof paper or parchment paper, because the expanding foam won't stick to that. Okay, now here's the setup I've got. Okay, let me come around. Sorry, the light from the door's just blasting everything. So you see I've got boxes lined with grease-proof paper. Yeah, I've just given a rough, you know, sticker down. I've got a cutting board here, again with grease-proof paper. Yeah, I've got some weight behind it. The reason I put the weight behind it is because as the expanded foam comes up, it's going to start pushing against it. If there's a little bit of weight there, it'll stop it from pushing it out. Now, because we're making a cliff type space, it doesn't matter if it pushes it out a little bit, because it'll give it a natural look. I've also got this little space here. Yeah, so when I get to the bottom of this and I've sort of done this, if there's any more in there, I can try and make some sort of, you know, pillar type stuff. So you look at the background. Now this box is a boxy box, it's all bandy and bent, so that's perfect, because it's not going to give me a block, it's going to give me like a rough shape. Yeah, again, I can still go in there and cut and sculpt it and sand it and all that sort of business. I've got the solid block, the other cutting board, the other side, because I don't want it expanding out that way. I want it to expand upwards. Now that's a big piece of, let's have a look. That's a big space for any table. Yeah. So I'm going to get on with getting the safety gear on and doing the expanding foam. I'll come back to you when I've done that, okay guys? Right, I've just spread that. Now this is always the panic time. You think, oh no, oh what's going to happen here? It's going to take about 3 or 4 hours to dry and cure, but it will expand 3 times the amount. So where that is now, it should be up here somewhere, okay? Let's give you a let me get rid of my vape. Up here somewhere, yeah? So give me a nice height. I've done this mistake before where I've done something like this and gone, oh, there's not enough. I've got another one and sprayed another one, and then it's too much. So, you know, don't panic at this stage, because, you know, let's have a look in there. See, it's just there. It will expand out to the block and probably start to expand up over the block, but it'll be up here somewhere. Okay, that's an amazing height. Okay, now, in all honesty, when I envisioned it, I was envisioning it up here somewhere. But with that said, even at this height is just perfect. So hopefully, see that bit down in the corner there? Hopefully that will fill up as well. So I'm going to leave now. Just let it do its thing. And I'll come back to it when it's done. See you in a minute, guys. Right, so that's all cured. There's a few things I'm not happy with. The can didn't have as much expanding foam in it as I thought it would have. But I think a second can would have been too much. I'll bring you down and I'll show you in a second. And one thing I should have done as well, after a couple of hours, I should have come out with a blade or some sort of sharp, you know, butter knife or something, and pull it in one end and run it down the middle and let it just swell outwards and come up again. I didn't think about it until afterwards. But it's basically come out like I say baguette. It's more like a loaf of bread, but you know, that sort of size. It's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be all higgledy-piggledy and just to rise up. Hence, the template would try and keep it in shape. One of the mistakes I made, there's not enough expanding foam. That's, you know, I didn't cut it. But I had the gap too big. I think if I would have done the gap smaller, it would have rised up really quickly and gone. But like, you know, with expanding foam, you can only try to control certain elements of it. You know, it is what it is. I'm glad it didn't blow the template out though. That's happened a few times, blow the template out. But what we're going to do to fix it is, bring it down and show you. What we're going to do to fix it is, I've got loads of off-cut pieces of expanding foam. I'm going to hot glue them on, just to bring it up to, you know, the higgledy-piggledy levels that I want. And then I'm going to get some filler, and I'm going to fill the joins and the gaps. Okay, I'm going to get a blade in there and sculpt a little bit as well. I did actually, if you remember, regulars here will remember the plastic spider, skeleton spider that I got at Halloween time. That's in there as well. I actually chucked that in hot, you know, just after I sprayed it, because I wanted it to be like the cliff face with like a skeletal remains of a giant creature coming out of it, you know. So this works out pretty well, okay, but there's still bits of it I'm not happy with, so I have to add bits of expanding foam into it. But yeah, I'll bring it down and show you now, guys. Right, so I pulled this down to have a look. That's one thing I'm not happy with, it's very flat. But again, that's not an issue, because I can just, I've got some flat pieces that I can add onto there to make it bulging. Where are we? It's not too bad, I suppose. Get this off. These big weights. Let's get that out of there. It's not too bad. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. Except that these are meant to be there to stop the. I mean, this actually looks pretty good. Actually, I think that it looks better now that I can see it than when I was looking from the side. Yeah, that's come out. I like that. I like this bit. That's quite nice. I might have to trim this bit down a little bit, but that's That's actually come out pretty okay. Yeah, that's actually come out pretty okay. That's a nice big cliff face. Bits like this need to be either something stuck on or just trimmed out a little bit. I actually want to do an archway going through, so straight through to the other side. That's what I actually want to do. So then it can be put across the battlefield with one army that side, one army this side, and you've got the archway through the middle. Yeah, so I'm gonna clear all this up because this is no good for nothing now. Look, it's just, and then gonna get the blade. I think get all the off-cut pieces out and get the blade and see what trimming down I can do. See you in a second, guys. So here we are now. I've cut an archway out. I've measured it. That's 8 inches. Okay, which is huge. Yeah, I've trimmed this down. I might have to come into this a little bit more. This is where it's come out of the expanding foam, and it's just stayed in like a squiggly line. It hasn't expanded out, but I could run thinner along that and just, you know, blend that in. It's not an issue. This is one problem. Actually, when I was cutting the archway, I was flipping it over and I caught this part of it. And I thought, what the hell's that? And I looked and just lifted me right out of it, scared the life out of me. Even though I knew it was there. Yeah, this bit is annoying a little bit, but that's not an issue because I can actually just, there's all the bits I cut off, so I could easily just take a piece like this and hot glue that in there, or, you know, there's all these little bits I've taken off. Most of them are going to be rubbish, but I've got another bits over there I can sort out. So I'm going to get the hot glue on and start hot gluing bits and pieces on, and I'll come back to you after that. Right, so I spun it around. You can see the spider in it now. Look. I don't know if that looks good or if it looks, I don't know, you guys let me know, but I think it looks pretty cool. Half buried, half coming out. I've hot glued all the bits on, okay, as you can see. Now there's a few wispy bits here and there for me to take off, but I tried to use the hot glue as much as possible to fill gaps. Okay, as you can see in there, look, just to fill the gaps. 2 reasons. First one is I was trying to get away with not using filler and just try and fill the gaps with hot glue. But then I realised, no, because if I paint now, it's going to look silly. So I need to put filler over the top. So the second reason is, now there's that gap there. When I put filler over the top, it's not going to be sucked into the gap. It's going to, you know, pretty much stay there. But little gaps like this, I may or may not just chuck a bit over and just really matter. It's just the big bits like this up here. Yeah. They're just where they join along. Okay. So, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty big. Yeah, I'm going to get on with filler mixing now. You don't need to see me filler mix. If you are not sure what I'm talking about filler mixing, then just chuck a comment and I'll show you. One other thing before I go, I've decided I'm not going to do nothing with this. The reason why is, if I filler mix this, I have to have it upside down. And then when that's dry and finally cured, I'd have to flip it over to the other side. So I decided this is a tunnel no one's going to see in there. If I give that a spray down and a quick dry brush, it should be okay. But look at this. This is where it came out. This is where it came out, the expanding foam first of all, the tube, and it came out. It did that bit there. Did not expand. It just sat there. So there's another little bit this side. Look. I don't know if it's a dodgy can or if it's a can that had been sitting there for too long. I don't know, but I'm happy with that. But anyway, that doesn't matter because that's underneath. So I'm going to get on with filler mixing. A long and tedious process, especially with something this size. And I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you I'll fully mix it. When that's dry, I'll give it a spray down. Yeah, show you a few pretty pictures, and then I'll come back to you and we'll go from there. Okay, see you guys. Right, so as you saw from the pictures there, it's a weird brown colour, isn't it? Because I envisioned Ash Wastes not having like this type of terrain that's all mounty rockies, but like covered in, I say ash, but more like sandy, dirty, you know. So I went with some burnt umber and some of this yellow ochre. Okay, and what I done, I got a paper plate. So I buy a pack of them for the pound shop, and they're great for mixing paints for terrain and stuff. But burnt umber one side, the ochre colour the other side. I wet the brush and I moved the paint into the middle, like not the whole lot, but just bits of each. Kept mixing it up, wet the brush, made it really watery down, and started slapping it on. Obviously, I had so much on my brush that I could use, and then I went back to the paint again and done the same thing again. Now, what this done for me is it gave me different variations in the colour of that brown. So some of the bits I put on are more yellowy, some of it are more darker brown, which is great. So when you look at it, it looks different going along. It's not the same one colour, you know. And then I dry brushed it with Screaming Skull afterwards. The spider, I just painted down with some watered down Screaming Skull, and I gave it a quick little once over with some white scars because I want it to stand out, but not too much. I'm happy with it. I didn't do the archway underneath. I sprayed that black and that's it, because you're not going to be getting down and have a look underneath it and all that. You know, you can see the archway, you can see through the other side. That's all you need to do. Save myself time and everything else. And I think the very, very, very bottom of it, as it's going along, there are bits here and there that I didn't get the brush into because I couldn't get underneath properly. Which is, again, you're not going to really notice that when you're playing, because you're looking at a big piece of terrain up. It's fantastic, but you're looking at the models as well. Now with this piece of terrain, I'll show you some pretty pictures in a second, but with this piece of terrain, I fit the rocky bits on top as well. You don't need to do it, you can just trim the top, cover it in flock if you want to make it a fantasy, or you can D&D, you know, you could, anything like that. As is at the moment, it's designed for Necromunda Ash Wastes. I could use it for Killteam, I could use it for games of 40k, which would be actually fantastic, especially with the big boards. I'm actually really pleased with it. And I hope you guys, you know, like it as well, because it's very easy to make, very, very easy. The only thing that takes time is waiting for the expanded pen to dry, undercoating the black brush with spray cans, nice and easy. And filling mix it, sorry, that was I didn't filling mix the whole thing. I filling mixed bits and pieces here and there where it looked like you needed it, and the effect is actually amazing. And then just paint it with the two browns, the brown and the yellow, shall I say, and wait for that to dry. Actually, it wasn't quite bad because the weather was nice here, so it's quite quick. But anyway, I'm going to bring down and show you some pretty pictures. I've got some 40k models here, so I haven't got Necromunda Ash Wastes models. I think actually Necromunda Ash Wastes actually released a few days ago, and I was right on the price. I said it's going to be around 200 quid, and it's 220 euros. So, but you know, I'll cover that in the next weekly Wednesday, as well as the new cow stuff that dropped yesterday, I believe, last night. But anyway, I'll show you some pretty pictures. Enjoyed this video, guys. Helped you in any way, please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and I'll see you, pretty pictures, but I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys. So here we are. Let me come in. How amazing this is. See, even the bottom there's black, but it's got the dry brush on it. It's amazing. If it focuses in, there we go. Let me just go around the other side. Oh, amazing that looks. It is just absolutely. Now I know when you have vehicles and stuff, it's going to be fantastic. So you could have it however here. Look, I haven't got all this space here, so stop. Proper size of table, board, that could be on there. You could have stuff this side, stuff that side, so that's the only point of entry. Okay, you could put the objective marker in the middle there, like inside the cave. Sorry, the archway. And that could be, you know, whoever's there by the end of the game holding that wins the game. And you can see yourselves just piling into it, trying to push out your opponent the other side and sort of make a sort of horseshoe around to block your opponent from getting in there, and they'll start trying to do the same. And, you know, I can see Corn Berserkers going in there, trying to hold it, and these guys trying to hold it. These are Scorpic Destroyers. Yeah. You can see, you know, especially Terminators going in there with lightning claws and thunder hammers, trying to absolutely, such a simple piece of terrain. Well, anyway, guys, until next time, take it easy, hit the buttons for me. I'll see you later.